You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, Movable University, the Universal Tractioning System, Imaging Services, and Zingit Solutions. Let's hustle. Hey guys, Jim Chester here. I got Sherry McAllister with me over in San Jose, California. I am coming in from Grand Junction, which is in the Grand Valley on the western slope. I kind of moved here just so I could hear the birds chirp. It's a town of 65,000 people, and I absolutely love it. Get to go hiking every morning, stay fit, and I want to hike until I'm 90. But before we dive in with Dr. Sherry, I'm just going to say thank you to Joe Ferrantelli and Posture Screen for being such a major contributor to let us keep free speech alive and well in the chiropractic space. And I just want to say a warm welcome to Sherry McAllister for being here with me today. Thank you for being with me.
Thanks so much for having me. This is a great pleasure.
Yeah, I think that people are going to get a lot out of what we're doing here. And before we dive right into this conversation about opioid epidemic and what it's doing to our society, tell us a little bit about what the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress is doing and how you've been working with them for the past 2 years.
Beautiful. My pleasure. The Foundation for Chiropractic Progress is actually a national campaign that promotes chiropractic. It's positive press for chiropractic. And our mission really is to empower, engage, and ensure that the doctors of chiropractic have the information and the consumer is well educated on quality information. And that's the real basis for what the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress stands for.
Yeah, I think that that's important to establish, good resources for not only chiropractors, but for the public. And I know one of the things that's facing our public right now is, it's a concern to me, it's probably a concern to you, is this opioid epidemic. What have you seen happening over the past, I'd say, I don't know, since you've started with the foundation, what have you seen happening with the opioid epidemic in our country?
We've been very fortunate that we were set right in the middle of a crisis, and unfortunately, we have to take advantage of such crisis. So we were way ahead of the game in our preparation for conversations to turn the dial to chiropractic, a non-pharmacological approach to pain care. And about 22 months ago, what we found was that there was an epidemic that people were concerned about. In fact, the numbers continue to rise, and the emergency rooms, unfortunately, are seeing more people come in with overdoses. So as a chiropractor and part of the foundation, our mission was we have to start not only on a national level, getting our information out, and then seeing some of the guidelines changing that really included the chiropractic or the non-pharmacological options. But to be able to get the average chiropractor enough information that they can go and start building their community, integrating the quality care that chiropractic can offer. And oftentimes they're not thinking non-pharm, they're just thinking I'm have a serious pain and it's being met with an opioid. So over the time, we started with just rolling things out from a national level, getting Wall Street Journal ads, being able to put together white papers. In fact, I just happened to have one of the white papers we had done at the very beginning. You can kind of see it's chiropractic, a safer strategy than opioids. This is one that we actually took to the National Press Conference. We held that in March of last year, and we had just a fabulous lineup that came to talk about the opioid epidemic and how non-pharm options play a role in helping those that are having chronic and sometimes acute pain get through with other options. So states have changed, and the message is getting bigger and louder, and successes are coming in almost daily with the foundation and people reaching out to us. So one example I'll share with you, Jim, that was really exciting. A fellow in Ohio had said, I'm going to a meeting. It ended up that meeting taking on media press, and it was on their channel, their news channel. And then they reached out to us again to get a brochure that the emergency rooms could give out on chiropractic care so that when they get their discharge, they're not left in the dark. Some of these people are severely in pain and they need other options, and a chiropractic brochure would be handed to them. So those are the wins. We also had a great win in the Mississippi State Medical Journal. They allowed us to put an article in there that went out to approximately 2,500 medical doctors to showcase the benefits that chiropractic care can serve to those that are suffering.
Yeah, I think you touch on some really important points there, and I think that most people they get disassociation with what chiropractic really is. Like we were talking off camera, like
Mm-hmm.
most people think that chiropractic is just for those slip and falls and the motor vehicle collisions and neck pain and back pain, but there's a whole different physiological approach to why chiropractic is effective for people. And what it does is it really retunes the nervous system to where people are functioning at their absolute finest again. Let's talk a little bit about that idea of helping the physiology change within the human structure, because I think so many people, they just don't know that chiropractic is affecting people that have psychological concerns, they have addiction concerns, they have depression concerns. So it's really reformatting people's hard drives, if you will.
Very much agree. In fact, we've had several conversations with addiction therapy clinics. One that we'll see in our upcoming newsletter where they were very successful, and one of the doctors had given an interview to our staff. And the key was that so many that are addicted to their opiates, that are trying to get off of them, had said to this chiropractor, without you, I would not have been successful in my recovery program. The physical pain that comes with just the withdrawal that nobody talks about, the mental anguish that they go through, and not having someone walk them through and be able to express, these are some of the natural patterns that you're going to go to. And this is a fairly normal withdrawal program. And chiropractic is really helping to get that life back on style. In fact, you and I had a conversation recently just about the Peace Corps, and with the Peace Corps' mantra being give, love, serve. When you think about peace in the body is something that is a true gift of health. When you have dis-ease or disease, that upsets the entire system, and that system itself needs to be rebalanced. And that's why chiropractic is such a benefit, is that we are giving, we're showcasing that the body has to have that loving care that can move to the kinematics of the spine, unless it's is being able to serve these patients with respect, dignity, and love. One of those being the veterans community that so very much needs this type of help.
So I'm going to ask you like the elephant in the room question, the big why. Why did the opioid thing become a crisis?
What an excellent question. So I would say Dr. Klum is a guest, is a keynote speaker just recently at the Pennsylvania Convention Association meeting about 2 weeks ago. And his talk was really about showcasing that this wasn't just a one-off moment in our history. In fact, it's been 8,000 years in the making. And unfortunately, with good marketing, unfortunate proper research, and the ability to send opiates out, we've created, it was a perfect storm. We had a family, the Sackler family, that actually did start and have a big part in Janssen Pharmaceuticals, and they promoted that it was a non-addictive. Oxycontin was non-addictive. That was, the startings in the 80s, that were under treating pain, and that opioids would be a good option for the patients. And the doctors are desperately trying to help their patients. And if they see a marketed, non-addictive substance that they can give their patients that will help them out of this excruciating pain, any good doctor would want to help their patient. When you market through a pharmaceutical company and then you get it into medical journals, people start believing. It may be true, but once you see it in print, it gains more momentum. And unfortunately, we started this many, many, many years back, and it's just cyclical, how we look at pain and how we look at health.
Yeah, and now I appreciate you being so transparent and sharing that. But now let's talk about the dirty truth. And the dirty truth that it doesn't stop at the pills. What's the next cycle for people when they don't know how to manage their opioid epidemic?
Unfortunately, you're absolutely right, and I know exactly where you want to go with it. And that, unfortunately, is the next substitute, which is the illicit drugs that are on the street. And they're so addictive and they're so very, very dangerous. In fact, fentanyl was just pulled off the a drug enforcement agency pulled enough fentanyl to kill almost an entire half of the United States. So fentanyl is almost 100 times stronger than morphine, and if made improperly, is extraordinarily dangerous. And then if you add on carfentanil, which is an elephant tranquilizer, coming in from other areas of the world into the United States, getting these street drugs off the streets, is that the answer? And I can tell you there's a lot of people doing roundtables, a lot of medical doctors, legislators, and law enforcement trying to find a way to help people understand the risks, understand what overdose looks like, and then, trying to deal with it.
And it's not just the urban decay; it's the top-notch neighborhoods that are seeing these effects as well. It's the white-collar people. It's not just the drug addicts out there. It's affecting all neighborhoods. It's affecting all society. It's affecting the neighborhood around me and you too. So
Right,
it's not just a chiropractic concern. It's a societal concern.
right.
Now, how is chiropractic a solution for this?
I think if our doctors could be very active on social media and in their private practices and get out the benefits of chiropractic care, and going to f4cp.com and actually downloading the definitive chiropractic resource manual, and I'll show you what that looks like. So when they go online, these are free. And part of these free pieces is that when you start to deliver the research on cost-effective chiropractic care, then we've got a better. Oh, by the way, this is our second white paper. If you can see that, it's chiropractic, the opioid exit strategy. So it feeds really nicely into your question. But how do we? And the only way to really do this is to take this manual right here, which you can see. It's called Chiropractic: A Safe and Cost-Effective Approach to Health. You can just pretty much bring that to any local healthcare community center and or medical doctors that need more information about chiropractic. It goes through the guidelines. It goes through the research. It talks about cost effectiveness. It's about 40 pages long, but it's well worth the read. And it goes through a lot of how chiropractic can be a part of their community or their treatment regimen. And that's really the key component. Be really familiar with the guidelines, because when you're asked, you want to be able to just say, I'd like you to read the guidelines. What are the medical community looking at? The Lancet study came out, which is heralded as one of the historic pieces. And in it, it talked about spinal manipulation. This is what all medical doctors are looking at. That Lancet study is an outstanding way to say spinal manipulative therapies are a key component to low back pain assistance. So just getting the research in your hand and then feeling comfortable that your community can hear the message. We've got PowerPoint slides to kind of get them geared up to go into their community, whether it be to a medical facility or just a lay lecture, maybe at a community center that the patients can show up at. I think that's really the grassroots efforts. And then constantly, I like to always say to my staff, persistence will create consistent results. You can't think that you're going to be on social media once every 2 months. It doesn't work like that. You have to be pounding the pavement like you are and making sure that you're getting the message out.
Yeah, I feel such a calling to share the chiropractic story with people because, like I've said time after time, most people don't know where to go or who to trust for their healthcare needs. And chiropractic is a solution because, back to some James Chestnut stuff, the eat well, think well, move well. Well, the part that he didn't include in that was to get adjusted. And what chiropractors do first is they start the practice member or patient out with that idea of getting adjusted, removing the subluxation, allowing the body to heal from inside out. And then once they're under good chiropractic services, that doc has the influence now on not only that one person, but that family to teach them how to eat well, think well, and move well, how to have happy thoughts and good feelings about oneself, and to grow from inside out, not only through feeling good, but also, figuring out how to feed themselves properly. And I think that the doctor of the future is what Thomas Edison said, but right now, Sherry, it's a doctor of the present. And the
Right.
chiropractor is the doctor of the present. And maybe that has been like a hallmark for some of the chiropractic, keynote speeches or whatever it might be. But the doctor of the future is right now, and it is the chiropractor. Because I do believe that people are looking for a solution. Like I asked you, what is the solution? And you did talk a little bit earlier about how the chiropractor is winning in the legislation in some of these states. What is it going to take for us to get more wins?
That is one of the key aspects that the foundation is working on, and it's collaborative efforts. It's being able to get our state associations that are working very nicely with us. In fact, for us to get more wins, we need consumers to see. I see you. That means we need you to see our message. How are we going to do that? I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek, since you're going to be the last person that I talked to before this event actually gets started, is that we're going to launch a national campaign to try to drive across America the messaging that chiropractic is a safe, cost-effective approach to health. And how we're going to do that is national billboards. We're going to be doing national trains. We're going to be doing national in-flight magazines. So it's trains, planes, and automobiles. And you're the first one to hear that. But it's a historic and, let me say, epic opportunity for every chiropractor in the nation to join with the foundation and just be very proud. Our birthday is September 18th. We're 123 years old, and our message has to be brought forth, and we just need to increase our numbers and increase our impact, and we do that by eyes on the message, whether it's social media, whether it's verbally, however we can do it. We just need to band together and support our birthday and try to be able to get that proper message out, being cost-effective, safe approach to health.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, Movo University, the Universal Tractioning System, Imaging Services, and Zingit Solutions. Let's hustle. Yeah, yesterday I did an interview with a guy that's a chiropractic financial advisor. He works with chiropractors and helps unsubluxate their financial futures.
Very
and
nice.
when I was talking to him, he told me about, how he got involved in chiropractic, and, he told me the story. And I told him, I was like, it's so much more than what people are in society know. I was like, we have to continuously tell each other the wins. We have to be in the news feed every day. We have to be in the scroll. We have to, let people know that chiropractic is the solution, not only for the aches and pains, like I mentioned, and the slips and falls, but also for the vitality.
Right.
I come from Iowa, okay? And I know people that have sold the farm to keep a loved one alive. Why don't we invest in long-term healthcare plans to make sure that people are staying healthy long-term with mobility, and they're not becoming decrepit, and they're not becoming inflamed, and they're not losing their mobility as they age? Because as I turn 40 October 1st, I don't want to become less vital to my own self than I was last year, the year before, or previously, or thinking about even how I interacted with life in my 20s. And then I went on to tell him, I said, well, the reason that chiropractic is so safe, affordable, and effective is because look at the malpractice insurance rates for somebody that is a chiropractic practitioner to somebody that's in any other medical arena. Because people don't get hurt in chiropractic. Chiropractors give, love, serve, and they help. They unsubluxate people, and they give people's lives back to them. Why wouldn't we want to take this to the mountaintop and tell everybody that this is the solution for the future of what we think is the division, but it's not. There's no division. It's the medical model and it's the chiropractic model. And if we don't tell people the truth about chiropractic, you know what's going to happen? Somebody else is going to mislead them with drugs or surgery.
Bingo.
So it has to be us that speaks with conviction, with confidence, and the know-how to say, okay, there's an at-risk population that needs what we have to offer. Come on in. We got the tools, we got the healing hands, we do the exams, we do the care plans, we adjust the subluxation, we allow innate to take over and allow the body to heal from inside out. And I think that's one of the other tenets of what chiropractic really needs to do is get back to the roots of what real chiropractic is. It was a profession based on tone of the nervous system, tone of the functionality of a human body. And now what we have in 2018 is a more toxic world with more things like the opioid epidemic that's bombarding our society with sickness and disease. And now the chiropractor can step up and say, okay, we're going to get our languaging right. We're going to join arms together, and we're going to be an unstoppable force for the future of this planet.
That is so well said. Unstoppable force. And, never before in history did we ever have such an ability to reach so many so fast. The social media aspect of this and just you doing a piece like this can really get people stimulated to say, I can do my part. Yesterday, I was on a website. I was quoted in one of their articles on Momtastic. This is a website. It's a Webby Emmy award-winning website for moms. And believe it or not, a large majority of moms make the healthcare decisions in their family. And to be able to showcase how pregnancy is best served with chiropractic care is part of that whole get started now. Understand, moms, when you make decisions for your family, are you making them because they're sick? Or are you making them because you want to make them better, stronger, healthier individuals? Those are critical components. But the other thing I want to tell you is when I started at the foundation, we were hit all the time with negative press. I remember talking to the advertising firm, and she said, Jerry, when we first started at the foundation, we would get probably 10 a day negative attacks. Do you know the last one we had was the Katie May, the really big one? We might get hit once a month with some negative nonsense, but it has changed. I mean, the times are changing quickly. And when someone says we don't have the research, I defy them to look and say this research is not valid, that the Lancet study is not valid, that the ACP guidelines are not valid, that the CMC guidelines are not valid, the European Spinal Journal is not valid. Define what they're looking at, because the truth is this. You cannot tell me we got an opioid epidemic started in America when the research was not there. Even to this very day, they're still wondering, is it long-term opioid use? What are the impacts to the individual from a brain composition? So they didn't have hardly any research. And then they're putting us in that box of, let's see your research. The truth is the research is in the numbers, and the numbers of people using chiropractic is growing every single day. And that's what we have to be proud of. And we have to make sure that we reach into every patient's family and talk to them about increasing their wellness.
Yeah, and a couple topics that you spurred up in me is our next film is called Project Patient. We're dealing with addiction, depression, anxiety. We're dealing with traumatic brain injuries. We're dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. We're dealing with moms and families and babies. Like, we show full families getting care. We show babies getting care. We show pregnant mothers getting care. We show military people getting care that are dealing with the after effects of post-traumatic stress disorder. We take people that didn't know where to go or who to trust for care and show that they're getting positive results from chiropractic. And many of these things are psychological and physiological. It's not a pain game that we're taking care of people for anymore. It's more like you said, eventually people are going to say, I demand this. I want this for my family. I want this for the long-term health benefits. And yeah, of course, chiropractic does I don't want to say bang up job, but they do a great job of taking care of people with the modern idea of neck pain, back pain, and headaches. Chiropractic does a phenomenal job at that, but chiropractic is much more than that. And I think that, as you were saying, the mom is the decision maker for the tribe. And if we think about tribe mentality and we want to have healthy families, we also have to understand that we don't live in a sick care world. We want to live in a healthcare world, and the paradigm that we're living in is right now is we want to wait till that there's a problem in order to patch it, instead of just saying, why don't we just get checked and adjusted weekly for the rest of our lives and invest in ourselves to where we have a better future. And like I said earlier, we don't get disease and decrepit, and we don't break down before our age is. Like I said, I want to be hiking when I'm 90, and that's why I stay under good chiropractic care. I get checked and adjusted weekly as necessary. And on top of that whole research thing, there's the Jay Holder is doing a lot of work with torque release technique. He actually has a diplomate in addictionology. So there's more rabbit hole out there for people that want to get good research. Jay Holder is really probably one of the most researched chiropractors out there. And then the Chiropractic Biophysics group with Dean Harrison. They have more research out there about specific things that are dealing with spinal conditions than almost anybody that I can know under the sun. So what you're saying, what I'm saying, what we're agreeing on is that what we need to do is we need to agree more and more and more. And we need to bring these people out that are doing the research like you guys are following up on. And the people that I know that are doing amazing things in the chiropractic space. So between all of us, one of my mentors that I've learned how to do this work from is Ed Osborne. He would always say, we're all more alike than we are different.
That is so true. And I'd like to add that one of the components to us being able to showcase the research and develop our messaging is that wherever we go that's unique or new, for example, we're doing a roundtable for corporate wellness and bringing that in so that hospitals and corporations and third-party payers and insurance companies, they can see the benefit in how we collaborate, because like you just said, we are more alike than we are different. And medical doctors, physical therapists, massage therapists, we can work together. I work on the theory of abundance, and abundance means that as you progress, if so desired, you shall receive. Knock and the door shall open. We just got to knock, and we got to open those doors, and we got to share the message. Because I'll tell you this, oftentimes I'm very close to Stanford University, and I probably have 100 or so Stanford University employees that come to see me, all in the medical community. And they come to me with a very trepidatious moment, not knowing what I do, unsure of if this is going to be okay. And that I asked them, have you ever heard of chiropractic? My colleague sent me in because they said that you help them with their neck. I don't really know what you do. And these are medical doctors at Stanford. And all I want to say is I'm leaving it to you to teach me what's wrong, and I'll try my best to be a good team player. And it just warms my heart to see that even the brightest, they're just not getting the message. It's not that they have a bias against us. They're in their own space like we are. And if we just scoop them up and share honest, respectful, well-researched, high-quality information, they will see the light, because these are bright people and they're willing, able, and coming to the chiropractic profession.
And as you said that, I call it unity through diversity. And I tell people all the time that we have room for everybody at the table. And as soon as the conversation gets started, people start finding solutions. And the reason that most people fall into disarray and become on their own little islands and don't know where to go or who to trust is because we're not having these cultural conversations. Right. So like you gave me congratulations earlier for being somebody that's always in the media for chiropractic, for the future progress of chiropractic. So with that being said, I think that the more that all of us are creating consistent content that is consumable for people all the time, it can't be when you feel like it. Mm-hmm. You have to consistently be creating relevant content that meets people where they are. And right. It can't just be when you decide, okay, I'm going to get on my phone and talk for 2 minutes about a patient testimonial today. No, you have to create campaigns. You have to create a system. You have to build a strategy that shares what we call the chiropractic secret with people that might not know it. So
Right.
we have to take these resources that are being developed, we have to refine them, we have to make the languaging something that is cohesive to where now we're going to start getting the referrals from this medical community that sees the house of cards falling down around them, and they're looking for the answers too. And probably they're all fed up and sick and tired of making their community sick with an agenda that they don't believe in anymore.
Well said. One of the pieces that I often get asked is, I don't know how to start. And I respect that because media is its own opportunity to explore. And I would ask that just start with looking at the quality materials because we all don't have that much time. If you're a busy practitioner, I'm very quite grateful for the opportunity to have a practice that's running seamlessly. But having that said is I still come to the foundation. I still use their infographics, their advertorials, their public service announcements, all of those things that you can use, and then, export more information. Just be very careful that you feel comfortable with the providers. Just like anything else in life, if you're not comfortable, don't do it. If you're not comfortable with the material, don't use it. And as you start to see what the foundation rolls out in the next couple of months, I think you're going to be very, very pleased. And just going in and downloading some of our white papers, downloading some of our infographics for your own website, creating your own campaigns.
And, just like you mentioned there, I'm going to close out here soon. I know we're approaching the edge of our time together, but teamwork makes the dream work. And the more that we all realize that we're more alike than we are different, we're going to make a huge impact together. And it's not shouting the loudest, but it's being the most consistent. And I think that us understanding that consistency is the thing that will bring chiropractic to the forefront. And it will be the, yes, I want chiropractic. Of course, I want chiropractic for my family. That's going to be the conversation that we all have to continue on a day-to-day basis. And the profession's bigger than your four walls. So the reason that we started Chiro Hustle is because we wanted to have the profession of chiropractic live outside the four walls of chiropractic. We want to penetrate the people that need to understand what chiropractic is from the leaders and from the historical footprint of what chiropractic stands for. That's why I pull a lot of my conversation back to vertebral subluxation. I pull a lot of my conversation back to the adjustment. I pull a lot of my conversation back to the science, philosophy, and art. Because I think that if we forget where we came from, then I think that that's probably the biggest black eye that chiropractic will ever have, is forgetting that chiropractic was built on the adjustment and the philosophy, the science, and the art. And that's a lot of the things that most people in the public don't know that chiropractic is based on.
Bingo. Happy birthday. Happy 123rd birthday to us. It is head, heart, and hands, and you can't separate them. They're one unit. It's a strong unit, and only chiropractic has the ability to give chiropractic benefits. And so once we share what those benefits are with our community, there is no, I don't understand. There is no, how come I didn't do this before? It all starts to come together for our community.
Yeah. So is it okay if I go ahead and close out?
Please do. It's been a pleasure with you. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty fired up most of the time. So I just want to say thank you, Dr. Sherry, for being on with me today and sharing your information about what's going on in our country with this opiate epidemic. And I just want to say thank you to Dr. Joe Ferrantelli for Posture Screen being of support of this program of the Chiro Hustle afternoon edition. And I just want to close out by saying, hey, you guys are just one story away. What do I always say, guys? Keep hustling. So I just want to say thank you, Sherry. I can't wait to have you on as a guest again, and looking forward to meeting you in person.
Outstanding. Thanks again.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.